And if you're not okay with manipulating other people, you shouldn't be a storyteller, because manipulating the emotions and thoughts of other people is exactly what storytellers are supposed to do. If you're gonna take the time to tell a story, then tell a story that matters. Mystery is a storytelling tool you can use in any story you're telling, even if you aren't telling a traditional mystery type of story.
As I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Every wife had 7 sacks. Every sack has 7 cats. Every cat has 7 kittens. Kittens, cats, sacks, and wives. How many were going to St. Ives? My phone number is 555.
No, wait, I didn't get all that. Say it again.
Not a chance. My phone number is
What? I didn't-
555 and the answer. Call me in 30 seconds or die.
I want to be clear right off the bat that we are not talking about mystery as a story type, where someone's trying to find the killer or whatever as the main plot. Although finding a killer or whatever is a kind of mystery that I am talking about, which is the storytelling tool of mystery. This is a tool that you can employ to force the audience to participate in and stick around longer for the story. Because what mystery does is it provides some of the information, but not all of it, to the audience. And we, as people, we don't like loose ends. We like things all wrapped up in neat little bows.
Just one guy.
The answer's one.
One guy. How do you dial 1?
555-0001.
001. Just one guy's going.
Hello, John.
Yeah, piece of cake. Give us something harder next time.
And the tool of mystery works because you, the storyteller, are orchestrating the mysteries in such a way that the audience is willing to keep going with you because they trust you as a storyteller and know that the answer is going to come at an appropriate time, and 2, the audience doesn't like loose ends. So I'm going to pull apart what mystery is, what promises you are making to the audience when you engage in mystery, and if you don't fulfill those promises, the audience is gonna run. I'm also gonna talk about the types of mystery you can employ and how to balance the mystery in your story, so we're packing a lot in today. A few quick things before I jump into that. I'm looking for some help to better understand where you're at on your screenwriting journey and ways I can help you advance as a screenwriter. So I'm doing something for the month of January called 30 Minutes with Jake, where you can schedule a 30-minute call with me and we chat about those things. And as time allows, of course, I'll answer any questions that you have. My goal is to talk to 50 of you, and I've already spoken to about 20 of you, and I have loved and appreciated all of those conversations. So if you're willing to spend some time on Zoom with me, a link is below where you can sign up for a time that fits your schedule. 2, I really love making content for you on this channel, and I'm so thankful for the comments, interaction, likes, bells that each of you do, because it helps me out and helps others find this channel. And if you'd like to further support me and the work I'm doing, you can do that on Patreon for just a few dollars a month. You will even gain access to all of my archive videos because I don't keep them all live forever, not all of them. There's also some additional opportunities for swag, and once support gets to a specific level, I'm gonna be doing some Q&As for patrons only. So if you found some value and you want to continue supporting me, that is a great way to do it. And 3, if you want any additional help from me in learning the craft of screenwriting or in helping you with your individual scripts, there are links below any video on my channel, including this one, that can be of help to you. Or you can just visit my learning portal, learn.bigredstripe.com, to find out the information you need. And if you have a specific question, you can always email me, ask@bigredstripe.com, and I'll help you find a solution, even if it's for a service that I don't offer. I simply want to be a resource and a help to you as you embark on this journey. And now it's time for some mystery.
Is there a detective named McLean there?
He's on suspension.
No, Walter, he's not. Not today.
Who is this?
Call me Simon.
What do you want?
I want to play a game.
What kind of game?
Simon Says.
Mystery is simply a dramatic concept that creates curiosity on the part of the reader or viewer. And anytime you force an audience to stop and ask, "Who is that?" or "What is that?" you are employing mystery. And mysteries can be simple things. So a character says something like, "Is she here yet?" And we start thinking, well, who is she? Okay, that's a mystery. Or mysteries can be complex and long and something along the lines of, who is the serial killer? Well, now we, the audience, want to know the answer, who is a serial killer? And by asking the question or even by implying the question in your story, the audience is now tied into your story because we want to know. We're curious and we don't like not having all the information. So we're going to stick around to find out that missing information. Craig Mazin, one of the co-hosts of the Script Notes podcast, which I'm guessing some of you listen to, he's also the creator of the miniseries Chernobyl and a writer on a bunch of films, says this about mystery. The idea is, even though you're not telling a detective story, you're telling a story in such a way that the audience now becomes a detective of your story. Because the desire to know is essentially the strongest non-emotional effect that you can create in the audience. And your job as a storyteller is to create an effect in your audience, to, in actuality, manipulate them. And if you're not okay with manipulating other people, you shouldn't be a storyteller, because manipulating the emotions and thoughts of other people is exactly what storytellers are supposed to do. But when you create a mystery for the audience, when you manipulate them into staying connected with the story, you also have to resolve that mystery at an appropriate time. And if you don't satisfy the audience at an appropriate or reasonable time, they become confused, or they'll ultimately decide to just bail on you and on the story. So engaging in the tool of mystery is a dance. It's a delicate ballet where you pirouette and do-si-do on a knife's edge. Because if the mystery is resolved too soon, okay, the audience feels your story is predictable. If the mystery isn't resolved soon enough, the audience is left confused and will probably stop watching. But if you do it right, okay, the audience not only stays engaged with the story, they will feel satisfied at the end of it, and they will have little inklings of satisfaction throughout your story because you are properly utilizing the tool of mystery. But that begs a question or two. What actually causes mystery, and what are some promises that you, the storyteller, are making to the audience when you use it?
Sounds like you got a secret admirer, John.
Yeah, maybe you'll send me some flowers.
The what that causes mystery is fairly simple. It's just when the audience's expectations don't mesh with the character's actions or the character's motivations. So in other words, we see a character do something, and then as a result of the character doing that thing, we would expect a particular result. But when that result doesn't occur and something else happens, well, that creates a mystery for us because we don't understand how these actions cause this behavior. And so we have to try to make sense of it. And when you do that, you are creating a mystery. So a teenager comes home from school and the parent asks how the day went. The teenager says, "Fine, but I've got a lot of homework," and they head to their room, only to close the door, drop their backpack on the floor, and begin sobbing. Okay, this is not what we expect. Why are they crying? What happened? Why did they lie to their parent? There are a ton of mysteries at play, all because the expectations of the audience didn't mesh with the actions or the motivations of the character. But here's the other really important part of what a mystery is. When it happens, it promises a reward of the answer to the audience. And if the audience doesn't even get an answer to the questions the mystery poses, that's when the audience gets confused, they get agitated, and they probably bail on the story, especially if the mysteries begin to pile up. So there's a mystery on top of mystery on top of mystery, and the answers aren't coming. So when a mystery is introduced, the audience is going to start immediately looking for some closure, for the reward of the answer.
Oh dear. I told you the park drive is always jammed.
I didn't say Park Drive. I said through the park.
And some mysteries, the audience is going to want an answer fairly soon. So if you introduce something, sometimes we want an answer quickly. Other mysteries, the audience can be patient with. We'll wait, and I'm going to circle back to that in a moment.
Are you aiming for these people?
No. Maybe that mine.
One of the worst things you can do with mysteries, though, is to introduce too many mysteries without resolving any of them. Because we as people can only keep track of so much at a time. And if you introduce too many mysteries, you're going to risk alienating the audience or causing them to miss information that could have resolved some of the mysteries. Perhaps because they're looking for answers to other mysteries you've created and they miss the clues to the ones you're trying to resolve. So too much mystery is overload. So again, it's a dance.
What are the odds of us making it down here on time?
Zip.
That bomb was gonna go off no matter what. He wanted it to go off right down here. Take this off me, Dave.
Well, what's so special about this place?
I don't know, something just doesn't add up.
But when you introduce a mystery, you are entering into a contract with the audience. Here's a mystery, and I will reveal to you the answer to this mystery at an appropriate time. In other words, there are rewards you are promising, things you have to fulfill on your end with any mystery you use. Some of the things you are promising include an answer being given to the mystery. If you don't give an answer to the mystery, the audience is going to be left confused. They're going to begin to stop trusting you as a storyteller, and you don't want that because you aren't fulfilling your end of the contract. It's kind of like the whole Chekhov's gun thing. I mean, if you're going to shoot a gun in the story, the audience needs to see it first. But in this case, it's the reverse. If you show a gun, then somebody better probably be shooting it or dismantling it or doing something with it. You're promising a mystery. You're promising an answer to be solved. Because audiences are savvy enough to know that if you show them a gun, then you are creating a mystery. Who's gonna shoot it? Whose gun is it? And a host of other questions. And if you don't answer those questions, you aren't fulfilling your end of the bargain of the mystery.
You don't got a juvenile hall for a Butterfingers? Is that it?
Look around, man. All the cops are into something. It's Christmas. You could steal City Hall.
Another part of this contract is that the audience could have figured out an answer on their own if they were given enough time. In other words, the answers to the mysteries they can't come out of the blue. They can't be random. I mean, if you've watched any crime dramas on TV, the person the police are after is one of the suspects that they have identified at some point. It's somebody they've talked to. We have met them. And if we don't meet them and the guilty party just comes out of the blue, it's unbelievably unsatisfying because the contract of the mystery was broken. So the audience has to be given enough information to solve the mystery if the power goes off right before the reveal. So they're watching a thing and Netflix just stops streaming. Boom. Can they figure it out? And they need to be able to figure it out. They could have figured it out on their own. And this leads into another reward that you are promising with a mystery is that logic must prevail. This is part of the figuring it out on their own, but it's not a random guessing game. The audience is going to use logic to solve any mystery that you present to them. So the answers must be logical.
You will find an envelope under the rim of the fountain. When you undertake the trip it suggests, ask yourself this question. What is 21 out of 42?
If, for example, a teenager is rebelling against her parents, the mystery presented to us is why? Why is she acting like this? The answer must be logical. Perhaps they aren't allowing her to do something she really wants to do. Perhaps she didn't make curfew and is being punished, so she's retaliating. I mean, those are at least somewhat logical reasons. But if the teenager is rebelling because her mom went to the store and bought her a blue toothbrush instead of a pink one, and the teenager is now rebelling in such a way that she's breaking the law, just being a hooligan, okay, that makes no logical sense at all. Plus, we would have never guessed that that was the reason in a gazillion years because it's ludicrous, so we couldn't have figured it out on our own.
What's 21 out of 42?
21 again, half of 42. 42 what?
How many players are on the Yankees ball club?
25.
What else is 21? Blackjack.
It's a club.
It's a wild goose chase is what it is.
Another reward that you are promising is that the mystery has to be there for a story reason. It adds value to the story or to the characters, to their development, to their arc, as their arc relates to the story. And by adding value, I mean it will inform the story and the characters, and when the characters discover the truth of the mystery, their behavior and their actions are going to be altered as a result. So the toothbrush thing, okay, that's illogical, but it also doesn't add anything to any story at all. If it's a mystery about who the criminal is, Learning that truth adds value to the story because now the direction of the story changes. We aren't trying to figure out who it is anymore, we're trying to catch them. Or if it's a teen drama and, say, Geraldine is dating someone, but none of her friends know who. I mean, they have their guesses, but they don't know, so they follow Geraldine, thinking it's a football player, or a saxophone player, or the captain of the chess team, only to learn that she is dating one of the math teachers. That's gonna change the direction of the story, especially when the friends are in that teacher's class the next day with Geraldine. So a mystery just to have a mystery, not a good idea, but a mystery that is there for a story reason is often a good idea because we want to know who Geraldine is dating too, and we are surprised, just like the friends, to learn the truth. And the last reward that you are promising to an audience when you use mystery doesn't quite feel like a reward, but it is if the audience figures it out. Someone in the story knows the answer to the mystery. Okay, even in a detective story, the criminal who is being hunted, okay, they know the truth. They're in the story, there's someone in the story, they know the truth, they know the answer. Even if the criminal gets hit by a car and killed, then someone else in the story still has to know the answer to the mystery. Otherwise, there's no closure, and mysteries need closure.
Tell him to find out who the 21st president was.
Chester A. Arthur. What? Chester A. Arthur, 1881 to 1885, nominated vice president 1880. Did you know he was collector of customs right here in New York?
No, I didn't know that, Jerry.
So for your mystery to work, someone in the story has to know the answer. Now at this point, you're all like, cool, I'm in. But what kinds of mystery can I create? And I got you. Number one, you can create a pronoun mystery. Now this is probably the easiest to explain, and it goes something like this. Did you see her? No. Did you? No. She's late. And we are all, who is she? This is a pronoun mystery. You can do it with anything. People, objects, places, pretty much any noun that you replace with a pronoun, because that's what a pronoun is. There's not much more to this one, okay? You're just replacing things with a pronoun. The characters know what they're talking about. The audience doesn't. It creates mystery for us. It's easy to do. This one's easy to understand, but there's one thing you have to remember when you use this one. The answer with a pronoun mystery must come fairly quickly. Otherwise, the audience is just going to think that they've missed some information and they're going to be left confused. So if the characters keep talking about she and her for 10 minutes, the audience starts thinking, oh wait, I must have missed who they were talking about, now I'm confused. So in your revisions, if you have a pronoun mystery, make sure you don't inadvertently delete the answer to this mystery, or you're going to leave the audience confused. Another mystery you can create is the obvious lie mystery. Now this is another easy one to explain. Like we hear a character say something like this to another character. I'm going out with some friends. And then we see that character at the hospital buying flowers and visiting someone who is unresponsive. Now, visiting someone in the hospital isn't a bad thing at all, but mystery, why is the character there? Why did they lie about going out with their friends and go to the hospital instead? Now, I've noted before, if you've watched other videos, you've probably heard me say that anytime a character lies in your story, that's usually a good thing for your story. And it still holds true here. Yes, lying in real life is bad. Don't do that. But having your characters lie is not a bad thing. It actually helps your story. It can be a great thing for your story. Now, you don't want your characters lying all the time, but if you want to create some mystery, having a character lie about something they're about to do is a great thing to do. Another mystery you can use is the not so innocuous information mystery. This one is a little bit more complicated. It's not too bad, but this is when a character shares something or does something that seems harmless or like everyday life. It seems like what they're doing is pretty normal, but then they react in a way that we don't expect. So remember, mysteries are created when characters' actions and motivations don't mesh with our expectations. So when Janice asks Megan if Megan has plans this weekend and Megan says, "No, I'm free," Janice responds with a, "Well, let's plan something," and then goes off to her office and starts crying. And we're like, wait, what? Why is she crying? That was innocuous information. It seemed like a normal conversation, but for whatever reason, now Janice is crying and we don't understand why. We want to know what's the big deal. It seems like innocuous information, but innocuous information isn't always so innocuous. Just like in real life. I mean, you've heard people respond to a question with what seems like a normal response, only to realize how they respond then afterwards is not normal. Something else is going on. It seemed innocuous, but it's not. Now, this one can be hard to pull off effectively because you have to set everything up for it to work. But when it works, it's very effective. Another mystery you can use is the point of view or object mystery. Now, this is another simple one to explain, and you've seen it a ton because it's where a character on screen sees something visibly and reacts to it. Now, we don't see it, but the character sees it. And because the character sees it and responds in a certain way, our question is, well, what did they see? What are they reacting to? And we don't know yet. It's a mystery.
Uncle, you better come look at this.
What?
There's a white man standing in the street.
I seen one.
Not like this.
Now, to be fair, this is used all the time in TV, and it's usually a choice made by the director, often used right before a commercial break. Or we cut to another scene and we're like, what did they see? What did they see? It's now a mystery that we need to solve. And so we stay through the commercials, or we begin binge watching the next episode, which is where I've been seeing this one a lot lately. The last scene of some streaming TV show. The show goes on along, and then there's some moment right at the end, a character reacts, and they respond in a certain way, and we're like, what are they looking at? Well, now I gotta watch the next episode. They're forcing you, the storytellers are forcing you to close the gap, to watch the next episode by creating some mystery of a POV or an object. One other type of mystery that I'm going to mention is the straight up mystery. Literally the who killed the butler kind of thing. Like, where is the treasure? Who has the key? Will Danny Ocean steal a bunch of money from a casino? I mean, these are all valid mysteries, and the same rules apply to these as well as to others. Now, remember I mentioned about how you can't have too many mysteries going on at the same time? Okay, that's still true. However, some mysteries can last longer than others. Okay, the audience doesn't have to know who killed the butler right away. You can take the whole story to reveal that one, okay? You can take lots of time to solve that mystery. But other mysteries, like a pronoun mystery, for example, an object or point of view mystery, for example, the audience is not gonna have patience for. The audience wants to know the answers to those questions very quickly. The best way to understand this is to think of mysteries and the length you can carry them in three kind of general groups. So group one is the short-term bucket. These are mysteries that are related to scenes or specific character actions. So a guy comes home from work, starts telling his roommates about his day, all while pouring gasoline around the house. Okay, that mystery is gonna need to be resolved fairly quickly. It's a character moment, it's a scene moment. Those tend to we need to get those resolved fairly quickly. Group two is the midterm bucket. Now, these are mysteries that are typically related to character secrets or motivations that they aren't fully revealing to everyone else. We discover those along the way. And these types of mysteries can last much longer in your story, maybe like halfway through your story, about half as long as your story, because we might, for example, find out a character has a specific or unique scar in Act 1. But around the middle of Act 2, we're going to find out what that scar really is about. We're going to find out the background, the story, and all of that kind of stuff. That mystery is going to be solved for us. As a storyteller, when you have those kinds of mysteries, you don't want to wait till the very end of the story to reveal that, because that takes the juice out of the character. I want to know why the character ticks. And the scar, this background, whatever happened to them, motivates how they're doing things. So when I see how they're doing something, now I fully understand. And now I can go the rest of the story and much better understand the story, because now I know how they got the scar.
The name Gruber mean anything to you, Lieutenant? Peter Creek was born Simon Peter Gruber. He's Hans Gruber's brother.
So we need to find that information out sooner, but not very soon, okay? Not too soon, just at an appropriate time. Group 3 is the long-term bucket, and these mysteries typically have to do with plot. So who the killer is, for example, can wait until nearly the end of your story, or in reality, the end of Act 2. So if your mystery has to do with character, the longest you should probably hold out on that one would be about half the length of your story. Remember, character is the middle bucket, okay? If it's plot, it can last the whole story or most of the story. If it's a scene or just what a character is doing, a character action mystery, okay, those are more short term. And remember, the appropriate time element is as soon as the audience needs to know, not before, not after. So you give an answer to the mystery at an appropriate time. And sometimes that's hard to figure out because you don't want to do it too soon. You don't want to do it too late. And introducing mysteries at key moments in your story is also a great way to raise the stakes for your characters in your story. And if you want to learn more about raising stakes, you can do that by watching this video right here. Please don't forget about 30 Minutes with Jake, and when you tell a story, include a bit of mystery along the way, and tell a story that matters. See you later.